Hey viewers, welcome back to Branching Out. We're going to look at some of our air layers. Now, I definitely started these air layers way too long. You definitely want to start in the early spring when the buds are starting to come out and the leaves are starting to form. I waited till like July to do this. So I definitely didn't get the root ball that I needed, but the leaves are coming off this tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach down on here and we're just going to snip that right off at the bottom of the ball, and we're going to take it back into the greenhouse and take a look and see what we got. So with any luck, I'm going to plant this up today, and I'm going to be putting it into the greenhouse. So I don't know if that's going to restart the buds here or not, because it is quite warm. It's a very beautiful day. It's 21 degrees. I'm like dying in the sweater. So we got only 2 out of the 10 that I put in that worked out, and some of the other ones that didn't work out, they literally just kind of broke and died. So I wasn't able to get what I needed. So we'll definitely be doing a lot more next year, and we'll be using probably a little bit smaller twig or branch. So let's go get the other one. Let's get up to the greenhouse and do some planting. We also have some of my blackberries that I had tried to root. We're going to take a look at them and get them in pots too. So let's get going. I'm hoping this temperature gauge is wrong, but that's reading almost 50 degrees in here. And it is hot, I'll guarantee, but ever since I closed it up, holy man. But 50 degrees, I don't know, that seems a little bit wrong. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take a quick look at these air layers, and then we're gonna grab the blackberries, and we're gonna see about getting them potted up too. So take a look at this. All right, so again, the leaves are off of this. It looks okay. Still alive down here, I guess. But we're gonna try it anyways. We're just gonna put it in some dirt, but let's check it out. I don't think there's any roots. So as you can see, there's no roots, but you can see this large callus. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut that off right about there, and we're gonna plant it and see if we can't get it to root in here. It's pretty hot, but we'll try and get the water to work for it. So again, we're just gonna nip it off right at the top there, get rid of any possible rot or anything like that, and we're just gonna get her in the pot. So I got a fairly decent sized pot here because it could get big. So what we're gonna do is fill that up with some dirt that I have prepared here. This is some old dirt that I haven't got anything to grow in yet, so we'll get that. It's pretty simple. Obviously, just stab her in there and pack her down nice and tight. So I'm gonna fill that up, and we're gonna take a look at the second one, which is probably the same. Just going through the same thing. But yeah, it must be 50 degrees in here because man, it feels like a bloody sauna. And I still have to water the plants in here because, you know, with this amount of heat, it definitely takes away the moisture in the pot. So put that over here. We'll take a look at the second one here. Toss that in there. Don't forget to reuse your dirt. Why not? So let's get that open here. Definitely get an earlier start next year. Now this one, not as much of a root ball or whatever you want to call that, scab or whatever there. Not as much, but we're still going to snip it right up close, just like that. Now, if there was a root ball on here, I wouldn't worry about that so much. I would just go as close underneath as the root ball as I could. So we'll get that in the pot too as well. And then we'll head into the blackberries. All right, here's my blackberries. I've had them in there for probably almost 2 months now, and they got a little bit of a root ball on them. So you can yank that off there, and you can see it's got a nice callus breaking out there. So we want to get that into some dirt because, I don't know, we're not going to get much more time than this. I can't believe it's 50 degrees in the greenhouse. We're in zone 6B and southern Ontario here, and it is 21 degrees outside. So yeah, we're looking at some warmer weathers this week. Definitely got to do some watering in the greenhouse because that heat has definitely dried up the dirt a bit. We'll get some of the clear cedar mulch there and throw it on some of those pots in there. But right now we're just going to grab these out of here and we'll go pot them up.
All right, you can see I got two here with some decent roots. I got one that's starting a root, and then another one here doing all right. Got some nice roots on there, and got a little tiny root on this one. Got some callus on this one, callus on this one, some big callus on that one, and we're just gonna plant them. So let's get them in pots. All right, I had this old bathtub here, this old wash tub. And I'm going to let them drain or soak up the water for the night, and we'll check on them again in the morning. We watered all our other plants here as well. They're definitely thirsty, and it is at least 45 to 50 degrees in here. So, wow, yeah, it's going really close to 50 degrees. So I'm going to get out of the greenhouse for a little bit. We're going to go possibly get some more cuttings, and I'll show you how to do the blackberry cuttings, but with polar berry, which is actually a white blackberry. So let's go, let's get some fresh air.
All right, so this is my polar berry. I've already snipped off the top. It was probably about this tall, but we're gonna take another cutting off it here, probably cut it right about there. And we're gonna let that grow next year. We'll try and take care of it a little bit more. These ones definitely have the spikes on them. Ow! Yeah, see? So yeah, don't get stabbed by them, be very careful. Nothing much I can do, but I can get a few cuttings out of this, and we're gonna go put them up in the cuttings box, which is in the back of the thing here. And we're gonna put them in the greenhouse. So actually, I don't think I'm gonna put them. I'm not gonna put them in the greenhouse right yet. I'm gonna put them just outside the greenhouse because it's still quite warm, and I needed to get a little bit cooler even during the day as opposed to at nighttime because yeah, they'll just fry. So we're gonna get those up in there, and I'll show you what they look like.
All right, these cuttings are pretty easy. So, you know, I took the offshoots from the main stem, and I'll turn them into cuttings. But what you want to do is get rid of these leaves here, pull them off, cut them off, whatever you got to do. And you're gonna leave as few as possible. So that's about right. You only want maybe 2 stems, maybe even 1, but I find 2 helps. So when you take that, be very careful. These things are sharp as heck. Just push them right on in there, right on down there, because I find that if you just put in the little point, like just up to, like, say here, you know, you're missing all this other chances of rooting. So it's probably going to root from these spots where I've cut it. Now this is the main stem, so we're going to trim that back just a little bit more, and a little bit more here. Get it. All right, we might just leave that one there. There we go, we got it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bury this one like right up to here, so it has like 3 different chances of rooting. And what you want to do, again, I'm using sand. You want to use an inert growing medium, because anything else is you're going to struggle. You're going to get mold. I mean, I get green moss mold on there, but we just keep working at it. So I toss it a little bit on the top so it doesn't build up too much. And you're going to want to make sure you check these. Check it. Make sure there's enough moisture in there. Right now, this may look, I know they say, you know, damp or whatever, but this is damp. And this, you know, is damp. But it's not wet enough as far as I'm concerned. There's too much dry in here. And it does dry out even though it's got the lid on it. So make sure you water them and get enough moisture in there, especially with the sun beating down the way it is. In here, it would be like the greenhouse. It's going to get up to a really kind of a high temperature. I couldn't tell you which, anywhere between 30 and 50, I suppose, if it's out in the sun without the coolness of the breeze. Like if it's within, like in the shadow or in the south side of a barn or something like that. So we're going to get this up into right beside the greenhouse, and we're going to leave it kind of in the sun but not in the sun. We're going to hope it gets there, and then but we're going to water some of this first. We're going to moisturize that, and then we're going to move on. Okay, I kind of changed my mind here, and I went over, and these are cold hardy kiwi. And look, I even have a little tiny kiwi that didn't quite make it. So yeah, little kiwi berry. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to definitely, you know, pull that off. Same thing as the other ones. We're going to snip that right about there, just below that node, And here we're going to probably split this one up. Wow, that web is very strong. And we'll cut it there and there. So roughly 6 inches, 4, 5, 6 nodes. Make sure you know which way's up. And then definitely let's get her in there. So we're just going to put them in just like we did the other ones. We'll put them on this side and hope we can get a couple anyways. I do have I think I have a few more of these somewhere. But yeah, these are vines, like a grapevine, so they're a lot easier to propagate than most. So if you're thinking about doing fruit cuttings, I find that's very difficult to do, is to just take cuttings and get them to root, unless they're fig or some other type of easily rooting fruit. Again, push them right down as far as you can. Get rid of these lower leaves. Just like that. And now we have a few more. So, you know, always be propagating. APB, ABP. Always be propagating. So we want to keep making plants for this, for the food forest, and I definitely don't want to keep paying through the nose all the time for certain things, even though I don't mind when it's something I want, like that white polar berry. So that's it there. So we're gonna get that up there. We're gonna maybe possibly find some more cuttings to take and keep moving. So stay tuned.
All right. So these are the blackberries here. These are just the regular blackberries that I had just done, but I'm gonna get some more of them because this is way too big. So if it's getting up to, like, you know, taller than me, you definitely want to cut it back to about 3 feet. So we're just going to snip it back there. But that's not the best way to propagate blackberries. The best way to propagate a blackberry is to tip layer. You stick that tip right in there, like this one here. This one here, I'm kind of tugging on it, which means it's going into the dirt down in there. And it's made a new plant. So we can just snip that right there. Now we have 2 plants. Now it should keep going. So again, you just grab the tip, push it down into the dirt. Maybe put a little weight on it, keep it going, but eventually that'll just root up. So there's probably a few more, but I only need so many blackberries. I think I'm gonna fill that back line with just blackberries. But that's it for this week. I think I'll leave you there, and I definitely want to see you come back next week. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends so I can keep doing this. I really do like doing it for you folks, and I do like learning with you as well as just teaching you stuff that I've learned. And see you next time. Be safe.
All right, just the cuttings I got for this week. Just wanted to show this real quick.